Good morning and welcome to Newsfirst Prime Time Sunrise.
A very good morning to you. We join you live from our Newsfirst studios. This is Primetime Sunrise. I'm Sonali Wanigababke. Let's start off with a look at this morning's headlines. Seventh consecutive day of strike action by health service officers island-wide. Decision to ease restrictions on transportation of poultry in line with upcoming festive season. Department of Irrigation says they will have an additional paddy cultivation season in certain areas due to water scarcity. Overseas, 1 month completed since Malaysian Airlines flight MH370 goes missing. Well, an Australian vessel searching for the missing Malaysia Airlines plane has detected signals consistent with those from the black box flight recorders.
The Ocean Shield ship picked up the signal twice, once for more than 2 hours, said Angus Houston, retired Air Chief Marshal leading the search. He called it the most promising lead so far.
They're drained. You know, it's an emotional up and down. We'd like to be able to tell the families that we found the location, but until we can reconfirm, you know, we should not be too optimistic. We should be very measured, as Air Chief Marshal Houston was commenting, because the worst thing we want to do is put the families through, you know, the emotional turmoil of possible but maybe false detections. So we're going to continue searching, and we're going to continue our best effort to try and locate the wreckage.
Meanwhile, Chinese families of Malaysian airline flight MH370 passengers held a candlelight vigil in Beijing today, marking the 1-month anniversary of the aircraft's disappearance. Families held a vigil at exactly 12:41 a.m. local time, marking the exact time when the flight took off on Saturday, March 8, 2014. Family members have said their greatest hope at the moment is to find the plane, which the Malaysian government announced late last month probably crashed in the South Indian Ocean, killing everyone on board.
Well, the Sri Lanka Government Midwives Association says that the Ministry of Health has failed to provide a proper solution to their issues, even though it has now been a week since they launched their island-wide strike action. Chairperson of the association, Devika Kodituaku, said that they will continue the strike until their demands are met.
However, chairperson of the All Ceylon Midwifery Officers Association, Deepthi Jayatunga, charges that the association engaged in the strike has developed unnecessary fear regarding their services, adding that what needs to be done is not to deprive nurses of the midwife training, but to provide the midwives also with the nurses training. Responding to this, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Government Midwives Association said that midwifery and nursing services should be carried out separately. Meanwhile, the Public Services United Nurses Union have taken steps to keep its staff on standby to give out infant vaccines to conduct maternal clinics. Issuing a communique, the union said they took this step as a result of the strike action launched by the Sri Lanka Government Midwives Association. Nursing officers point out that their union is ready to support any form of action taken by the Ministry of Health and the Epidemiology Unit to normalise the public life.
The Department of Poultry Production and the Department of Health have announced that they have taken measures to ease restrictions imposed on the transportation of poultry in certain areas in view of the upcoming festive season. Now, Newsfirst contacted Director General of the Department, Professor Kumar De Silva.
We are hoping to take measures to ease certain restrictions with regard to animal slaughter in certain areas. Therefore, one of the steps that will be taken is conducting the slaughtering of animals in front of an appointed official or health inspector. We will be carrying out this task with the assistance from local health inspectors. Except in instances where we cannot ease restrictions, in all other areas we hope to do so.
On to one of our top stories this morning. The Department of Irrigation states that they are considering having an additional paddy cultivation season owing to the prevailing water scarcity in certain areas. Director General of Irrigation Bhadra Kamaldas stated that it has become impossible to cultivate for the Yala harvest. Now, according to the Department of Irrigation, it has become difficult to cultivate for the Yala season in certain areas in the districts of Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa and Kurunegala. She added that although cultivation for the Yala season had already commenced by this time in previous years, this year's cultivation has only commenced in a limited number of areas. Kamaldas also noted that they have been compelled to postpone paddy cultivation activities in certain areas to April and even to June in other areas. According to the data of the Department of Irrigation, water levels of water reservoirs have fallen to 40% of capacity. Due to this, the Director General of Irrigation noted that the paddy land area set aside for cultivation will also have to be limited. Well, today marks day 13 of Around the World in 40 Days, a goodwill tour organized by Newsfirst along with Sri Lanka youth. Now, the group is currently in Tokyo, Japan. Newsfirst Ramesh Irugal Bandara brings us more details on the day's proceedings.
Around the World in 40 Days.
A very good morning. The Around the World team is once again joining you from Tokyo, Japan. This is unfortunately our final day in Japan, and we bid farewell to Tokyo as we head to Sydney, Australia. We are due to fly off from the Narita airport in a couple of hours from now. A flight time of 9.5 hours before we reach the Sydney Kingsford Smith Airport. Now, Sydney, of course, is the administrative capital of Australia, and we hope to interact with the youth population there, as well as Sri Lankan expatriates who are living in Australia in order to create awareness on the World Conference on Youth 2014, which will be held in Sri Lanka. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara with Yasa Kamasuri from Tokyo, Japan.
Well, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee of Pakistan, Rashad Mahmood, arrived in the island last night. According to the duty manager at the airport, the delegation, including General Mahmood, reached Sri Lanka at around 9 p.m. Army media spokesperson Ruwan Wanigasurya stated that this is General Mahmood's first official foreign tour since being appointed to the post. During his visit, he will be meeting with political leaders and heads of the army and also engage in discussions. He's also scheduled to tour several areas of the island as well. Overseas, the first phase of the world's biggest elections in northeastern states of Assam, Tripura came to a close with a high percentage of voters casting their ballots, with Hindu nationalist opposition candidate Narendra Modi holding a strong lead but likely to fall short of a majority.
At the time of vote close, 84% voter turnout was recorded in Tripura and 72.5% in Assam, with many voters still standing in queues and waiting for their chance to give their mandate. Some 815 million people are registered to vote over the next few weeks as the election ripples out in stages from two small states near Myanmar to include Northern Himalayan Plateau, Western Desert and Tropical South, before ending in the densely populated Northern Plains. In New Delhi, Deputy Election Commissioner Alok Shukla announced the voter turnout in Assam was approximately 72.5%, but with queues at several polling stations, the turnout was likely to exceed 75%. In Tripura, the turnout was 84%, but that was also likely to rise with queues still outside polling stations. India's mammoth general election will be held in 9 stages running until May 12th. More than 800 million people have registered to vote, a number exceeding the population of Europe and a world record. Results are due on May 16th.
Well, we move back to one of our local stories. This morning, the National Police Commission has introduced a direct hotline to enable the public to lodge complaints and to inform the Commission of any unfair treatment meted out by police. Now, on today's edition of the Field Report, we are joined by President's Counsel Senekawal Gampaya to give us a more detailed overview of the tasks carried out by the National Police Commission. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sonali.
Thank you very much for joining us here this morning. Can you first briefly outline for us the tasks of the National Police Commission?
The present National Police Commission is constituted under the 18th Amendment to the Constitution, and the main function of the Police Commission is to entertain complaints from the members of the public with respect to any act of omission or wrongful or commission by a police officer or the police force, and to conduct investigations or inquiries into the complaint, and thereafter give a measure of relief to the aggrieved party. Under the 17th Amendment to the Constitution, in addition to these powers, the National Police Commission also had the powers of appointment, promotion and disciplinary control of police officers. And it was found that at that time, the time of the Commission was taken more to attend to those matters, in consequence of which the Police Commission was not able to devote sufficient time and attention to the investigation of complaints by members of the public. So, under the present Commission presently constituted, we devote our full time and attention to investigation of complaints and trying to resolve the disputes the police have with the public and to give relief to the public. In order to perform our functions, the National Police Commission has established 9 provincial secretariats and also 8 divisional officers. We have established officers in Colombo, Kalutara and Gampa districts because of the population there, and we are able to entertain complaints and to investigate the complaints and to give relief to the public. And in this respect, I must say that we are receiving the maximum cooperation from the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Langakon, and we are very grateful to him for giving us all cooperation to conduct our functions. The Inspector General of Police has given instructions to all senior DIGs and to the relevant police stations to give us all cooperation, and at the moment we are receiving cooperation to the police station. We are able to render the service to the public as contemplated by the Constitution.
Well, that wraps up Primetime Sunrise. We'll see you again at 8:55 with more.
Hotline 0114 896 896 www